I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
It's nice to be here. Lee Eckley, by the way, it's a pleasure. Um,
Likewise.
where are you right now?
I'm in North Carolina in
Oh,
the snowy rain. It's very, very gray.
now North Carolina got hit by that huge, what do they call it? A nor'easter or a winter bomb this past weekend. So I guess North Carolina is not really good at clearing snow out.
It's not so bad right now. It's above freezing, so it's just kind of
Mhm.
like piles of old ice in the rain. It's and we don't even have a show here. We had to escape an ice storm that hit Kentucky where we were supposed to be today. So we
Hmm.
hightailed it out of there, came to, a city near our next show date, and we're just kind of like waiting it out here.
Oh, okay. Do you have any plans for the day, or are you just going to kick back and relax?
I've actually been recording all morning, working on a really cool project for one of my other jobs, the LA Rams. And then I've got press stuff all afternoon. And you guys are my first one, so it's fun to kick things off with you.
Great. Well, let's talk about the LA Rams because I wanted to do a little catch up before we talk about what's going on in the Nita Strauss world these days.
Sure.
Um, you were on. Well, we'll get to the Rams in a second, but I just saw that you were recently on the. You were supposed to talk to me last week, but you were on the Shiprock cruise. So
Yes.
I saw that you were playing with Michael Starr from Steel Panther. He didn't look like he was in character. Maybe you can elaborate on that a bit. And Bumblefoot was there, and Jason Hook, and you all did a tribute to Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, I actually didn't, I wasn't on the same song as Michael,
Mhm.
unfortunately. But yeah, he wasn't in his full Michael Starr character. He was just, I've actually been seeing him do the David Lee Roth Van Halen stuff since way back in the day, watching him in Van Halen tribute bands in LA, when I was growing up. So it was really cool to kind of see him reprise that role again. And of course, to play with such talented artists and pay tribute to the great Eddie Van Halen was an honor for me.
Now, you just taught me something. I had no idea that he was in a Van Halen tribute band before Steel Panther.
Yes, him and Russ both together.
They're so funny.
They're great. Yeah,
Did you ever see them on the Zach Wild roast?
I didn't know. That good, huh? Okay, is it on YouTube? I'll go watch it.
Go watch it. I hope you're
Okay,
not
I will.
easily offended because
I've
it's
grown up on
nasty.
tour buses and vans.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
very hard to offend.
that's funny. You were talking about the LA Rams. Of course, you were at the conference final against the 49ers on Sunday. Good game, terrific halftime.
It was a great game. Actually, what's funny is the halftime performance that I posted was from weeks earlier, and I think everybody thought it was that day, even though I posted it the morning before the game. So it's kind of funny because everyone was like, "Oh, I was watching, and I didn't see you." I was like, "Well, yeah, because I posted that at 9 in the morning. It was from December."
That
um, yeah, so I don't know if some people on my Instagram thought I had a time machine or something, but it was really an honor to get to play my song at halftime back in the regular season at the Rams Seahawks game. And of course, I've been at all the Rams home games since they moved to SoFi, which has been an incredible experience as a football fan and as a Los Angeles native. So it's just been so much fun to be there and make noise and cheer the guys on and hopefully help them get to, a little bit get closer to an amazing victory in a couple weeks.
being a musician offers incredible opportunities, doesn't? Never could you have imagined in a million
It's true.
years being a guitar player having a relationship like this with your hometown football team.
It's very true. I would have never, it's one of those bucket list things you didn't realize was ever on your bucket list, which is very
Yeah,
cool.
that's a great way of putting it. What's SoFi Stadium looks so fine. I mean,
It's
that's
unreal.
incredible. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's such a cool experience. And one thing I think that fans don't realize is the stadium is actually underground, so you don't walk in and go up like you do in most stadiums. You walk into SoFi and you go down. And the playing field is, way, way, way deep into the earth, and you enter at street level and you go down levels and levels and levels. So it's really interesting. It's really interesting to be in there, and it's very grand. It's very, very beautifully, beautifully designed. And the cool thing for me as a musician, and your listeners probably as music fans, the acoustics are just unreal. You
Hmm.
get into a stadium that size, usually, and you have a lot of slapback delay, like, it's very hard to hear. It's very hard to like make out the intricacies of what's going on. The slapback in SoFi is like, it's so fast compared to like, for example, the Rams last home in the Coliseum, it was like a full 2-second delay. It was really difficult as a musician and as a band to hear what's going on. So it's really cool how they designed SoFi to be so great acoustically, as well as such a cool experience for fans.
And will you be back in time for the Super Bowl?
Unfortunately not. I will still be out with Alice. The Super Bowl is not technically a Rams home game. So unfortunately, we don't get our usual entertainment team there to do it. However, the NFL has my number. They know how to get a hold of me if they decide they want some guitar for anything or everything at the big game. They know how to get a hold of me. I'll be on the first plane.
I'm actually looking forward to the halftime show. Dr. Dre, Snoop, and a whole bunch of others. I think it's going to be pretty exciting. And the game's going to be great
I think
too.
it'll be cool.
But
yeah,
you know what? And I hate to bust your bubble, but I'm rooting for the Bengals. I just love underdogs, and I think this quarterback for the Bengals, Joe Burrow, is just fantastic.
Hey, you know what? There's no bad outcome to this game. I will say, even if I wasn't a Rams fan, I thought Matt Stafford was so underutilized in Detroit. I would love to see him get that ring, because he really, yes, the Rams are my team. Yes, I'm pulling for my guys, but I'm also, just as a fan, pulling for Stafford because he really deserves it after all these years, I think.
Yeah, especially after all those years in Detroit too, because that couldn't have been too easy on him. Geezer Butler was at the game too.
I heard he didn't come say hi to me.
Yeah, he looked great. I was really surprised. I guess he's been living in Los Angeles for a long time, and I know the band lived and recorded there a lot back in the 70s and such. So anyway, let's talk about current stuff. The new single with Dave Draiman from Disturbed, Dead Inside, and it's doing really big guns. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's an honor.
And how did you get hooked up with Dave?
Well, we were working on the song, I was in Nashville working on the record, and there were several songs on the album that were written with a specific singer in mind. And Dead Inside was actually not one of them. We were just sitting in the studio going, let's come up with something cool. Let's see what comes out. And we were working on this song, and my boyfriend, Josh, who has known David for many, many years, listened to it. He's like, we've got to get this song to David. Like, this sounds like Device, kind of David's side project from before, but a little heavier, a little shreddier, a little more me. So he got it over to David, and the whole process was very organic, very cool. There wasn't a lot of like back and forth and change this and change that and adjust this and put this there. Like, we sent him what we were happy with, and David came up with something immediately that I was super happy with. We went into the studio in LA together, and he knocked his vocal out so fast, so professional. Just every line was delivered with such intensity, and just, I couldn't have asked for a better experience. And then, of course, working with David afterward on the promo for the song and everything, I just learned so much about this new step into the radio world. And I feel like I couldn't have had anybody hold my hand better than David Draiman.
Do you think he'll be joining you on the road for any cameos in the coming months after you're finished with your Alice Cooper obligations?
He did actually come once. He came and sang the song with us in LA at the Whiskey. We are on some festivals together in the summer, so you never know. Yeah. He's a little out of my price range to actually tour with, but as far as hopping on stage and singing the song, he always, of course, has an open invitation, and we're always very honored to have him.
So you're on the road with Alice Cooper right now?
Yes.
How's Alice doing?
He is fantastic. It's his 74th birthday tomorrow. We had a birthday party for him last night. He's at the top of his game, in great spirits, singing his ass off every night, just performing like that legendary person that you would expect. He's definitely firing on all cylinders.
And you are going to be in Toronto. I know you don't have your schedule in front of you, but you're going to be here on March the 26th at a place called Meridian Hall, which is a really great music room that used to be home to the Canadian Opera Company and the National Ballet of Canada. So you're playing some nice venues on this tour.
Good acoustics, it sounds like.
What's your favorite song to play in the Alice Cooper set?
There's no unfun song. Let me just start with that. The Alice set, I think a good set is like a roller coaster. You start out and you have these peaks and valleys, and it all flows really, really nicely. So the whole set is fun. But I have an extra good time doing the Kane Roberts stuff, 80s Alice.
Hmm.
So we're doing a lot of that in this particular set list. We're doing Roses on White Lace. We're doing Teenage Frankenstein. We added Bed of Nails, Hey Stupid, kind of like the more up-tempo, fun, shreddy 80s stuff. So that's what I have the best time with, probably.
And you were finally able to put your personal mark on an Alice Cooper album because you played on Detroit Stories, his most recent, correct?
I did not actually, but
Oh,
I will play on the upcoming one.
I found out, I read otherwise, so I stand corrected on that.
Yes, if it's me, you'll hear me. If you don't hear, I don't hear anything that sounds like me on Detroit Stories. But all the live tracks, of course, are the current band: myself, Ryan, Roxy, Tommy Henriksen, Chuck Garrett, Glenn Sobel, and then the upcoming Alice record, the one that will follow Detroit Stories, will have all of us playing on it.
And who's going to produce it?
Bob Ezrin.
Okay, and just so you know, the co-producer on Detroit Stories works in this building here. His name is Brian Moncars, so maybe you'll be working with him as well.
Actually, we've already done the bulk of the recording for the record with Bob. So I don't think I'll have the pleasure to work with Brian this time, but maybe next time.
Okay, so I love Bob Ezrin's work. I've been a fan of his for decades, and of course, he's from Toronto, so we hold him very close to our hearts.
Of
Even
course.
more so, he entertains me as much with his storytelling. I wonder if you have the same experience.
He's a great storyteller, always making the room laugh, always. Bob definitely has his own style of working and his own personality. And as long as you understand that and that rapport, I think, Bob is an amazing, amazing person. He's an amazing person to work with regardless, but I definitely think you have to understand his production style and his critique style and understand, where he's going with everything and his specific vision. We had a great time making the record.
Okay, I want to flesh this out a little bit. He does have a reputation for being a bit of a control freak. Did you find yourself able to express yourself Nita Strauss style, or did he have to harness it? Or how was that experience with him directing you on parts?
It was great. Who are any of us to tell Bob Ezrin how to make an Alice Cooper record?
Mhm.
He has a vision, he has it how he wants it, and it was our job to come in and execute it. And I think we did that to the very best of our ability and absolutely retained our personalities and our own style. He gave us a ton of freedom to express ourselves. He gave us a lot of notes, of course. But he gave us, I think, Alice wanted us to make a record that sounds like this band, that sounds like the live band. And I was really grateful that Bob and Alice gave us the opportunity to do exactly that.
Again, a great experience. And you play with another great guitar player, Ryan Roxy. I guess when you auditioned for Alice's band, whether Ryan was there or not, I don't know what the circumstances were, but he would have had to consider how you two complemented each other. And how does it feel after so many years now?
Yeah, I feel very fortunate to be in a band with three great guitar players, myself and Ryan and Tommy Henriksen on guitar. And I feel like those two make me better every single day. I
Mhm.
think Ryan is the best guitar player in the band. Tommy is by far the best musician and songwriter in the band. He writes a ton of the Alice stuff even before this last record. So I just learned so much from both of them each and every time we step on stage together. And they've both made me a much better guitar player and a much better musician.
That's beautiful. Now, sitting in your hotel room right now, I'm thinking about all the wonderful advances in technology and opportunities that it creates in terms of being able to take your workspace anywhere. Pros and cons?
Yeah, I am a huge fan of portable mobile work, and I have to be because I'm on the road, 10, 11 months out of the year usually. So I'm looking over at my workstation right now. It's a Universal Audio Apollo and a pair of Austrian Audio headphones and my laptop and my Pro Tools rig. And that's the same rig that I recorded most of Controlled Chaos on, my first album, a ton of the forthcoming album that'll be out later this year. I take this with me, the same rig with me to run my live shows on my solo tours. I think you can do so very much with what seems like so little on the grand scheme of things. And it's amazing.
And you are the first female endorser of Ibanez guitars.
The first female signature artist, yes.
Okay, that's interesting because when I was growing up, Ibanez has always made a good guitar, but when I was growing up, they didn't really have a signature line. They were known for making a really good Les Paul copy.
Yeah, they did. They did that back in the day. I mean, you know, they've had Steve Vai, they've had the Gem, you know, since the 80s. I have one of the early 1987 Gem 777s. You know, they've had the Satriani signature for, you know, probably pretty close to the same amount of time. And they've made so many great guitars over the years. So it was really exciting to get to be the first girl to not only make my dream guitar, but have my dream guitar out for everybody else to play and have it be their dream guitar, I hope.
What was the not criteria, but what were you looking for in your custom guitar? What specifically, what kind of action do you like? Tell me what you're looking for in a guitar that you play.
The most important thing for me when releasing a signature guitar was something that is a super pro level player's guitar that looks beautiful, that sounds great, that's easy to play, that is an attainable price point for a lot of people. Because, you know, a lot of the guitars, like, let's be real, a lot of the guitars that I use on stage are $4,000 or $5,000 guitars, you know. And if I put that out to people and say, this is what you need to be a great professional guitar player, not many people will be able to afford it, you know. So we didn't compromise on anything. We made a beautiful guitar, mahogany body, quilted maple top, ebony fretboard, my signature pickups, as the most beautiful, perfect spec guitar that you would ever need, at a price point that people can go, oh, I mean, it's not cheap, you know, it's not a throwaway, you know, amount of money, but it's something that you could get as a birthday present or graduation present or something like that. And making it attainable for as many people as possible to have a great guitar. And that's what I looked for, and that's what we did.
Wonderful, that's great. So March the 26th, Meridian Hall in Toronto, and your next stop with Alice is going to be?
We're going to be in Cherokee, North Carolina tomorrow. We've got another week of this tour, then we go on Monsters of Rock cruise, then I go straight back out with my solo band to keep promoting Dead Inside. We will do a string of dates leading right into the following Alice Cooper tour, which is when we're going to come see you guys. Then I go back out with my solo band, then to Europe with Alice, and then back here in the summer with my solo band. So we have a full year ahead.
Do you have trouble finding balance sometimes between rest and work?
Absolutely. There's no balance at all. It's all work. But, you know, I had a year and a half off the road, you know, which it wasn't time off. I released an online guitar course. I finished, you know, this upcoming record. I did a ton of work during that time. But I'm just really happy to have the opportunity to be back out here and play and come see you guys and get some Momofuku up there in Toronto and, you know, just be back out here and enjoy this touring lifestyle that I've enjoyed most of my life.
Okay, well, it's really, really nice to connect with you. We'll see you in Toronto on March 26th. Safe travels. Hope you get out of North Carolina okay. And
let's hope.
Go Rams, go Bengals.
There we go. Thank you very much.